Alrighty, Chef Buck here, and today we're going to roast up a chicken. Dun dun dun, check this out. Boom!
It's on sale.
It was on sale, so normally 10 bucks, like half price, so we're getting this for 5 bucks. And this is almost a 5-pound bird. And it's going to taste great because we're going to cook it up with a lot of vegetables. And we're going to make it just like one giant meal, cook it all together, so it's actually going to be quite easy. But you're going to get this here whole chicken home, and then you're just going to assault it with your knife, and then you're going to free it from the confines of the packaging. And there we got our whole bird, and it's going to, you got a little surprise in here.
Surprise!
But we'll just pretend that didn't happen.
What are you talking about? That's the gizzards.
That's the giblets, but we're not gonna do anything with that. I know when I was a kid, my mother used to cook all that stuff up, and my dad he would eat the heart and the liver and the gizzards and blah blah blah. But we're gonna give it a little wash down here real quick. Sometimes you'll find, like there'll be little feathers still stuck to it. We're just gonna give it a quick little wash like that, and then we're gonna pat it down so that it's nice and dry. We'll just dry them up. But you want to dry the bird off really well so that our seasonings and our butter is going to stick to it a little better. Now I got some butter that I softened up here in the stove, so it'll be easier to put this butter on the chicken since it's been melted. So I'm just going to pour this over there, give it a little rub all around, work that butter in everywhere.
So you didn't de-skin it?
No, we definitely want the skin on here, because that's going to crisp up in the oven. That's going to be a nice flavor. Really is going to taste great in the oven after it's roasted for a while. We're going to salt it up. I got a mixture of salt and pepper here, and we're going to be very generous with it. First thing I'm going to do is open up the cavity and put a lot of salt and pepper in there. Lots of seasoning. Don't be shy with it. And you can put whatever kind of seasonings you like on here. I'm going to keep it kind of simple. You could just do salt and pepper, but I'm going to throw some garlic powder on here too. This is going to be a very garlicky dish. Pan over there to that garlic, camera girl. See, I got like...
so this is 2.5 whole bulbs broken into the individual cloves.
So we're going to go ahead and stuff our bird. I got a little bit of onion here I'm going to throw in here. Just give this stuff a rough chop. I'm going to cut an entire lemon in half.
Ooh,
we'll throw half the lemon in here. Cram it, jam it in there. We're going to take some onion, throw some onion in there, and then I'm going to throw some garlic cloves in there. And then I'm going to take this other half of lemon
and seal it.
Put that on the end, boom, boom, boom. Alrighty, so we got this thing jammed, packed full of lemon and garlic. Now I'm going to go ahead and truss these legs up with a little cotton twine. So you just want to secure him up like that, just like a victim in the Saw movies.
No.
But if you've never seen Saw,
I haven't.
You'll still be able to do this. Oh. Boom, boom, boom.
That's wrong.
So there we have it, all tied up. I'm going to go ahead and set it on a plate over here just for a few moments, because I'm going to put a few more things in this pan here, because we're going to make this a complete meal. And I'm just going to give these vegetables a nice rough chop. We're going to have big pieces because it's going to roast for quite a while. But these vegetables are going to keep the chicken off the bottom of the pan. And they're going to catch a lot of flavors off the chicken. And they're going to roast with the chicken.
Yes.
It's going to keep everything nice and moist. It's going to add a lot of flavor. Alrighty, so we got a bunch of onion.
More.
I got the rest of my garlic. I got some parsnip. Because I love the flavor of parsnip. And I got some carrot. And again, big pieces, because we're going to be roasting this maybe for about 1.5 hours. I got all kind of uniform sized potatoes. They're about the size of a golf ball with a big ego. And I'm just going to cut them in half. And you can add some pepper if you want.
There's Chef Buck, Spicy Man.
I'm not going to work too hard at this here, so I'm throwing big chunks in here. Now I got butter all over the chicken, because that's going to help the chicken to brown up, give it a nice color and flavor. But I'm going to put some olive oil in here, all over these vegetables.
Any seasoning? Pretty
generous with it. Definitely going to put some seasoning.
Yay! Stomach's growling already.
Oops, I forgot to put rosemary inside the chicken, but that's okay. Lots of rosemary, and I like to chop the rosemary up.
Oh, that's fresh rosemary.
Yeah, fresh rosemary, so you can get that flavor everywhere, throughout everything. And then the little pieces, they're pleasant to eat. So we'll throw some seasoning on here. I'm going to put some garlic powder. Alrighty, I'm going to put some more salt in here, quite a little bit. Some more pepper. And I'm just gonna mix this all up with my hands. You know, we had a little bit of butter on the bottom of the pan from when we had the chicken here. But all that olive oil that I added, I wanna go ahead and run it around the pan here in these vegetables, get everything nice and coated. So we got everything coated and seasoning and olive oil. I'm gonna run this around here and get some of this off of my hands onto the bird. Alrighty, I almost forgot, I'm gonna put some paprika in there. And like I said, you can put any kind of seasonings you want. I'm gonna throw a little bit on the bird here too, just for the heck of it.
For color? Just
for something. Well, it's gonna have plenty of color already. Once we roast it and that butter starts to cook on there, it's gonna have plenty of color. Then we're gonna take our bird, boom, 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 and then we'll just slide our wings, oops. Just kind of fold them under here as best you can. And that's one of the reasons not to take the wing tips off. Alrighty, so she's all ready to go. We got our wings tucked under there. We got our legs trussed up. You know, that keeps it close to the body so that it cooks evenly. We got a whole mess of potatoes and onions and carrots and parsnip and garlic under there. So when we pull this out of the oven, it's going to be a complete meal. I got my oven heated, preheated to 425 degrees. Let it cook for about an hour and a half. You know, that's a high cooking temperature, but boom, you know, we're gonna get a nice crispy skin, nice golden color on the outside. So that's it for the cooking time.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yep, looks kind of perfecto.
Whoa. Woo.
All right, it's nice and golden brown and looking lovely. That's because we put that butter on there. Cooked it at kind of a high temperature, so it's got a great color. Mix up my veggies here together a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and move this bird off of here.
Juicy.
And I'm just gonna leave it alone. But you don't want to cut it right now. It's full of juice, and if you slice it right now, the juice is just gonna run away. Now, if you wanted to check to see if it was done, you could take a thermometer and poke it in there between the leg and the thigh, you know, and check the temperature there around 165, 170, something like that. You could have cooked it with a thermometer in there if you wanted to. And you could even slice it, you know, and check to see if the juices run clear. And that's how you know it's done. But you know, give it time to rest so you're not wasting all that flavor. Now we've got flavor here in the bottom of this pan with these veggies. But I'm gonna go ahead and run a spatula on the bottom of this pan and loosen up any of these veggies that are cooked on the bottom of this pan. Man, because they've roasted in that chicken juice, you know, and all that garlic. And these are just terrific flavors, you know. And I didn't cut the potatoes up into too small pieces because you can see how super soft they are. So that's why you don't want to cut up your veggies and potatoes into too small pieces. And I'll go ahead and cut this twine. So we freed him, so fly away.
Stop.
I guess he wants to stay, so we'll eat him. We get our twine off of here. Go ahead and pull my lemon out. I'm gonna go ahead and spoon the garlic and onion and stuff that I stuffed in here so I can mix up with these other veggies.
Oh, I can smell the lemon.
And any juice that I have in there, I'll go ahead and let that run out. So I can mix with my veggies, get all the stuff I stuffed in there. Now that all that flavor will have permeated inside the chicken and also help to keep it moist. So that's just more flavor. What's up? Look how terrific that is. Great color. We got a great side dish already cooked up to go with it. So boom, there you have it. Super easy roasted chicken recipe. If you want to print the recipe, go to myfoodchannel.com. You know, I got a link down below. Links to all our media extravaganza down below there. You know, if you've got nothing going on in your life, there's plenty for you to do down there. But anyway, thanks for watching, checking out the video. Definitely give it a go. Super simple to make. Now we're going to let it rest. And then we're going to chow down. You still got another 10 minutes to go, camera girl. It's just going to, the longer we wait, the better it'll taste.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.